Alright. Hopefully this works. Okay. Looks like, yeah, okay, looks like it's working. I don't know what changed, but it's working now. Good. Good. But I need to type in a new link. See here. It's a new link every time. Pretty annoying. If anyone knows a better way to do this, please let me know. Because I don't. Okay. Here we are. Good. Fantastic. Good. What? Well, now I can't see the chat anymore? What? Oh, brother. I don't know. Is this working? I'm getting reactions, but I don't see any. What's up, man? Hey, Priest. Bonati Bonringa. Hello, everybody. Okay, it's working. I am seeing chat messages, but I'm trying to bring that up on my phone here. I don't know how, I forgot how to do that. Ah, here we go. Good. Awesome. Here we are. Hey, Hannah. Good to have you back. Okay, we're back, and I guess I'm gonna keep studying. I just took a break, and now I'm back. So, where am I from? I'm from Oklahoma. What subject? I'm going to be talking about immunology. Here we go. Yeah, as you guys can see, I was having trouble there with that. Alright, I'm going to generate another quiz. But while we're waiting for that, we're going to go over some flashcards. Okay, Hannah, what am I doing? I am going to be studying some more here. Trad out loud. What? Oh, read out loud. Can you guys hear me? How well can you hear me? Anybody there? How's this thing working? Hello? How's that working? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to read this out loud. Sorry if that was loud. I'll bet it was very loud. Okay. Can you guys all see the information as well? That might help a little bit. So, let's just go ahead and start off here. So this was a case of a dog named Georgie. So he had a low packed cell volume, and in his case it explained which 5 key clinical problems. Well, so he had immune mediated hemolytic anemia, I think is how you IMHA. IMHA. I don't know if that's what it stands for. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here it is. Immune mediated hemolytic. Okay. So he had anemia, right? Because he's got a low blood cell volume, which means he doesn't have enough blood cells. Well, let's just, I don't have it memorized. He had weakness. He had pale mucous membranes. He had tachycardia, which means a fast heart rate. Tachy means fast, cardia means heart. Tachypnea, which means fast breathing rate. And he also had lethargy because of that anemia. Right? His muscles aren't getting enough energy because there's not enough oxygen going around. Wow, Hannah, it's getting late, huh? All right, moving on. What are the 3 basic mechanisms of anemia? Hemorrhage, hemolysis, and lack of bone marrow production. So these are 3 ways you could get anemia. Hemorrhage, you're losing blood, you're bleeding. That's what hemorrhage is. Red cell destruction, hemolysis, the blood cells are being destroyed. And lack of bone marrow production, the blood cells are not being produced. So as they get old and die, they don't come back. Cancer. What do you mean? What about cancer? A high absolute reticulocyte count, such as 360,000 microliters, in an anemic patient indicates what type of response from the bone marrow. It can probably, if you're saying, can it happen due to cancer? Yes, probably could. Anemia could. Bone marrow cancer, maybe that would cause I'm gonna have to go to bed in a bit. Okay, Hannah, just go to bed whenever you want. Sounds like counter. I thought you had to diagnose. I don't know. This is just vet school. I'm not a doctor yet. I can't diagnose things yet, but it told us everything we needed to know anyway. He's got IMHA. That's the diagnosis. Immune-mediated hemolytic anemia. Cancer can cause some of those same symptoms, though. So a high absolute reticulocyte count such as that and an anemic patient indicates what type of response from the bone marrow. Positive response. This bone marrow is making new cells. Reticulocytes are young red blood cells. A regenerative response where the bone marrow is actively producing new red blood cells to compensate for loss or destruction. Given a low packed cell volume and a very high reticulocyte count, the anemia is most likely due to hemolysis or hemorrhage. Can't be due to the bone marrow problem because the reticulocyte count is very high. Usually it's less than 1%. What is the most common cause of hemolysis in dogs? IMHA. Very not common, but this is the most common cause of hemolysis. You have school in the morning? I understand, Hannah. Me too. Well, I hope it goes well in the morning. Get some good rest. What specific red blood cell morphology change, when marked, is considered diagnostic for IMHA? Spherocytes. There's an increase in spherocytes, which are basically immature red blood cells, I think. Or maybe it's just blood cells that are altered in a certain way. They become spherical and not as able to hold blood, I think, or hold oxygen. Spherocytosis. Besides spherocytosis, what other finding on a blood smear is diagnostic for IMHA? Agglutination, auto-agglutination, self-agglutination. That's what auto means. Auto means self. What test is required to reliably differentiate true auto-agglutination from rouleau formation on a blood film? Now, I don't fully know the answer to this question. I think it might be a certain test. Coombs test. No. A saline dilution test. Okay. Which class of immunoglobulin is particularly effective at causing red blood cell agglutination? IgG. No, IgM. If neither spherocytosis nor agglutination is present, what are two other diagnostic tests for IMHA? You have blood cancer, Michael? Or Michael and Kayla? Sorry to hear that. How's it going? Is it Erdheim Chester? Oh, is that your name, or is that the type of cancer you have? How's the cancer going? Are you doing all right? If neither spherocytosis nor agglutination is present, what are two other diagnostic tests for IMHA? The Coombs test is one, and flow cytometry is another. How does a Coombs test detect antibodies on red blood cells? It uses species-specific antiglobulin reagents like antibodies against IgG, IgM, or complement to promote agglutination of antibody-coated red blood cells. How does flow cytometry provide a quantitative measure of antibody-coated RBCs in IMHA diagnostics? It uses fluorescently labeled antibodies against IgG, IgM, or complement to count the number, of individual RBCs that have these molecules on their surface. Hannah, are you asking if I'm okay or if the above guy is? Okay. I did chemo, but it just put me in the hospital. I'm sorry to hear that. I really hope you get better. I hope that your financial situation gets better too. Man. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having cancer. You give yourself interferon shots, huh? I know a little bit about interferons. So it must be some kind of... Oh yeah, you probably have to, because I bet your blood doesn't make interferons anymore. Interferons are good against viruses. So that makes sense. Man. That's horrible. I hope you get better. What is the difference between primary or idiopathic IMHA and secondary IMHA? Primary IMHA has no identifiable underlying cause. That's what idiopathic means. Whereas secondary is triggered by another condition like infection, neoplasia, or medication. So secondary IMHA literally means it's secondary to something else. Primary just means it's idiopathic, we don't know where it came from. What are the three main categories of underlying causes for secondary IMHA? Infectious diseases, especially red cell parasites, neoplasia, and medications. So, blood parasites are one of the main causes of IMHA. I didn't know that. What is the mainstay of treatment for decreasing immune destruction in IMHA, and what is its mechanism? Glucocorticoids like prednisone. They decrease macrophage phagocytosis of antibody-coated RBCs, red blood cells, and eventually reduce antibody production. You can't have gluten, Hannah? That's okay. I'll be honest, gluten's probably not that good for anyone anyway. Humans. I don't eat gluten, or I haven't in a while at least. I'm on something called a carnivore diet right now. It's really helping me out with my health. I've never felt better. But do you have celiac disease, or is that the reason why you can't have gluten, or is it another reason? What are the four major physiologic effects resulting from the release of mast cell granule mediators in a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction? Increased vascular permeability, smooth muscle contraction, vasodilation, and increased glandular secretions. Celiac disease? I've got a friend that has celiac disease too. It seems pretty common, actually. It's pretty strange. Histiocytosis. Histiocytosis. Is that the condition you have, Michael and Kayla? Okay, question 7, or flashcard 17. The clinical sign of urticaria or hives in a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction is primarily caused by what two mediator actions? Increased vascular permeability and vasodilation. This one over here. When mast cell granule mediators are released in a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, it results in increased vascular permeability, smooth muscle contraction, vasodilation, and increased glandular secretions. Okay. Pretty crazy. Moving on. What is the term for the widespread, life-threatening, systemic manifestation of a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction characterized by a sudden drop in blood pressure? answer this question first, and then I'll get to that. Allergic reaction. Yeah, anaphylaxis or anaphylactic shock. I didn't know until I was 8. I'm style 8. Well, I mean, that's pretty good spelling for an 8-year-old, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know until I was 8. I'm still 8. Sorry, I'm not trying to belittle you, Hannah. That's awesome that I didn't know I had 8-year-olds watching this. This is really cool. Yeah, don't worry about it, Hannah. And I'm sorry if my flippant remark about your age made you feel bad. That wasn't my intention, but Priest of Ones. Well, Bremer, I gotta run to my chores. Good luck on your work and tests. I hope to run into this again. It's interesting to listen. Thank you. I wish you luck with your chores. Have a great rest of your day, man. See you later. Hope to see you later. And thanks for watching. Appreciate you. But Hannah, yes, celiac disease. Seems pretty common. My actual name is Lucas 2017. Okay. Well, I guess I'll call you Lucas. Hey, Michael and Kayla. Thank you all for watching this, by the way. What is the term for the... anaphylaxis. In dogs, the primary shock organ affected during anaphylaxis is the blank, leading to blood pooling due to dilation of hepatic veins. So this... Okay, Kayla. Nice to meet you, Kayla. Sorry for calling you Michael and Kayla this whole time. I assume Michael is someone important to you. That's awesome. Sorry to hear about your cancer. In dogs, the primary shock organ... Here, I'm going to put this up here so that I can... Okay. It's actually the liver. I don't know why, because in most other animals, it is the lungs, not the liver. So, I don't know. Strange thing. The normal, non-pathologic role of the IgE-mediated immune response, which underlies type 1 hypersensitivity, is primarily for defense against what type of pathogen? This... Okay, well, I just gave it away. Yep, IgE, type 1 hypersensitivity, yes. Parasites, particularly helminths. Which T helper cell subset is responsible for inducing B cell class switching to IgE, and what is the major cytokine involved? Th2 cells. Sorry, my voice is giving out. Perfect time to do that, right? Th2, okay, we're talking about which T helper is responsible for inducing B cell class switching to IgE, and what is the major cytokine? Man, so it's almost midnight for you, Hannah. Th2, sorry, Lucas, I'm sorry, I forgot. IL-4 is the major cytokine, and Th2 cells are responsible for inducing class switching. Okay. What type of hypersensitivity reaction is characterized by antibodies? directed against cell-associated antigens, leading to cell destruction. It's not type 1, and I don't think it's type 4. It's probably type 3. No, type 2. That was my guess, but I guessed wrong. Type 2 cytotoxic hypersensitivity. Oh, I see. So you're probably using your mom's YouTube account. That's okay. I think I've probably done that before. Yeah, when I was young, I used my dad's phone to play like racing games and stuff. So type 2 hypersensitivity is IgG and IgM against cell-associated antigens. What are the two primary effector mechanisms that cause cell damage in type 2 hypersensitivity? I think it's complement and antibodies. Antibodies and complement. Intravascular lysis via complement. Okay, I was somewhat right. Probably a quarter of the way there. Intravascular is complement, and extravascular phagocytosis happens by macrophages. Kayla, what do I know about interferon shots? I'll be honest with you, nothing. I don't know anything about them. I've never even heard of them, but interferons themselves are something produced by your body, by our bodies, by every animal's body, as far as I know, that play a role in viral defense. What they do is they alert other cells in the body to up their defenses, basically. So the interferons themselves don't do anything, like anything damage. Right? They don't damage any of the pathogens, but they alert other cells to upregulate defense in order to get rid of the pathogens. You're welcome. You're using your mom's phone. Okay. Yeah, I figured. What are the two primary effector mechanisms that cause cell damage in type 2 hypersensitivity? Well, we have... Yeah, we already went over this one. Intravascular complement, extravascular macrophages. That's what I need to remember here. What are the clinical signs that distinguish intravascular hemolysis from extravascular hemolysis? Intravascular hemolysis is characterized by hemoglobinemia and hemoglobinuria, which are absent in extravascular hemolysis where splenomegaly is common. Oh, your mom's old phone. Okay, I see. Oh, yeah, I think intravascular hemolysis. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Let's see here. Center that there. Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, I'm really having a fun time so far in vet school. I mean, it's challenging, but can't grow without a challenge. Oh, so that's your phone, Hannah? Or Lucas? Yeah. That's awesome. Free phone. Yeah, that was how a lot of my first phones were. Dad gave them to me as he got a new phone. So don't ever turn down hand-me-downs. Always be grateful. That's the advice I would give you. I've gotten plenty of hand-me-downs. A lot of my pants were hand-me-downs. Lots of jeans. My dad gave me lots of jeans. And so now I've got lots of jeans. So I don't have to buy as many jeans anymore. All right, Lucas. You best get to bed. It's pretty late. Thanks for stopping by. It was nice to meet you. Get some sleep, bud. Hope you sleep well. See you later. In cats, what is the major blood group system and which blood type is dominant? So, type A is, see you later, Lucas. Type A, or AB system. Type A is found more commonly than type B. Why can a type B cat have a severe transfusion reaction to type A blood on its very first transfusion? Type B cats have strong titers, high titers of strong anti-A antibodies. What pre-transfusion test mixes the donor's red cells with the patient's serum to check for existing antibodies that could cause a reaction? Well, pre-transfusion mixes the donor's red cells with the patient's serum. It's literally, it's just a cross match. But you're giving the donor's blood to the patient's serum. There's another way around where you give the patient's blood to the donor's serum. That's a minor cross match. The major cross match is more important because it more accurately predicts whether a blood transfusion would be dangerous for a recipient. Which canine blood group antigen is the most clinically important for causing severe transfusion reactions? DEA1. There's DEA1, 2, nope, wait. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think. There's a lot. But 1's the most important. Neonatal isoerythrolysis, or erythrolysis, however you want to say it, occurs when a newborn ingests colostrum containing maternal antibodies against its own blood type, or blood. Yeah, red blood cells. The mother has a different blood type. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you for the subscription. I just saw that. I appreciate that. The mother has a different blood type than the foal. Because the stallion, the father, gave the blood type to the foal. The stallion made a baby with the mare. The mare had a different blood type, but the foal has the same blood type as the stallion. And the first time that a foal is going to be born, they're going to be born, but then the colostrum is going to be dangerous for the foal. The second time, the foal might not even be born. The maternal, or the mother, unbeknownst to the mother, obviously. Hey, I think that's David. Love you, bro. I hope to see you too. Pretty soon, hopefully. I only have 3.5 years left, I think. So, see you soon, man. Colostrum. Yeah, so not a good deal. In horses, which two red cell antigens are most significantly implicated in causing neonatal isoerythrolysis? The AA and the QA antigens. Okay, I didn't know that. A type 3 hypersensitivity reaction is also known as blank disease. Immune complex disease. Okay, I didn't know that either. What is the key pathologic lesion in type 3 hypersensitivity resulting from neutrophil-mediated damage to vessel walls? Vasculitis. Okay. In systemic immune complex disease, immune complexes tend to lodge in sites of high plasma filtration. What are 3 common anatomical locations affected? Glomeruli in the kidneys, the synovial fluid pockets, synovial joints, and I don't know what the third one is. Small blood vessels of the skin. Okay. What laboratory finding is characteristic of immune complex glomerulonephritis? Marked proteinuria of 4+ on a urine dipstick. Ooh, wow. Neutropenia was one of my sicknesses. I am not sure what neutropenia is yet, but I'm sorry to hear that. Doesn't sound fun. Hey Lucas, you're back. You should probably go to bed, man. Isn't it midnight? Where you at? Don't worry, I'll be streaming some other day. Oh my goodness, you had COVID at the same time? How did you get through that? The historical disease serum sickness was a type 3 hypersensitivity reaction caused by the administration of hyperimmune serum from what species? Horses. Oh, it's 10 o'clock where you're at? Okay. Horses. What is the term for a localized type 3 hypersensitivity reaction in the lungs, often seen in cattle that inhale spores from moldy hay? Farmer's lung is the colloquialized term for it. Although otherwise called as hypersensitivity pneumonitis. What type of hypersensitivity reaction is T cell mediated and does not involve antibodies? Well, type 4? Delayed type hypersensitivity. Okay. So type 4's T cell yeah, I should have known that by the T cell mediated part, but I wasn't thinking about that. And does not involve antibodies. Okay. The characteristic inflammatory lesion of a type 4 hypersensitivity reaction is a granuloma. Okay. The tuberculin skin test is a classic example of which type of hypersensitivity reaction? Type 1? No, type 4. What day is it tomorrow? It is Friday. For me, exam day. I've got an exam tomorrow, and I've got a very long day. Not really looking forward to it, but it'll be okay. It will be alright. How long after an intradermal injection of tuberculin should the test site be evaluated for a reaction? I think 72 hours is what it was. Or 24. It's 24 to 72. Nope, 72. What is a common cause of a false positive result on a caudal fold tuberculin test in cattle? The cattle having a different strain of tuberculosis instead of Mycobacterium bovis. They have something like Mycobacterium avium. Yes, leading to cross-reactivity. How does the comparative cervical test differentiate between infection with M. bovis and cross-reactivity from M. avium? Alright, Lucas. Hope you get some good sleep, man. See you later. It compares the size of the reaction to an injection of bovine tuberculin with the reaction to an injection of avian tuberculin at the separate sites. What is the term for the host's ability to mount an immune response against antigens? Immunocompetence. Yes. The exam consists of 99 questions. No, this is just a review. This is just an AI generated, well, from my notes. So I used Notebook LM to generate these flashcards. If a bovine fetus is infected with a non-cytopathic strain of BVD before achieving immunocompetence, what is the immunologic outcome? They're going to be born persistently infected, and they're going to recognize the antigens as self as a result. A calf that is tolerant to BVD and is born viremic, continually shedding the virus, is known as a persistently infected animal. What fatal disease occurs when a persistently infected animal becomes superinfected with a cytopathic strain of the virus? BRD? No, mucosal disease, huh? Okay. In ungulates, like calves and foals, the intestinal window for absorbing maternal antibodies from colostrum effectively closes by blank hours after birth. 24. Yeah. 6 is by 6 hours, from like 0 to 6, is where they get the best absorption. Can I please live stream tomorrow? I'd really like to, Lucas, but I can't make any promises because I've got a very, very long day. Thanks, David. I think it's David, maybe Diego, I don't know, but I really hope you do well on your test as well. God bless you too, man. Miss you. Thanks for joining. But yes, Lucas, I'm gonna try to I just have a very, very long day. I might not get done with school by or until 7 p.m. or so. 6 p.m., I don't know, 7. Could go on for quite a while, but then I've got to go to the gym after that. I just don't. If I don't stream Friday, I'll stream Saturday for sure. Or at least very, very likely. I can't make any promises again, but like probably 90% chance. You're right, Kayla, I do have to rest. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll wake up really early tomorrow and do a stream. Another reviewing stream. Like 4 a.m. I don't know. I don't even know if I'll go to bed that early today. But who knows? Maybe. What specific receptor transiently expressed on neonatal enterocytes is responsible for transporting maternal IgG from the gut lumen into the bloodstream? FC receptor. I didn't know that. Neonatal FC receptor. What are three major reasons for failure of passive transfer of colostral antibodies? The calf fails to nurse. The milk is too early, like it's early lactation, not good enough, I guess. Or there's another one, production failure or poor quality of colostrum in the milk. So that was one. Ingestion failure, that was 2. Well, 2, and I put 2 and 3 together, but they're 2 separate things. They don't suckle and they don't absorb are 2 different things. Good to know. What is the term for the period when maternally derived antibodies are too low to provide protection against infection, but still high enough to interfere with vaccination? The window of susceptibility. What is the primary objective of the innate immune response to a viral infection? To alert the body. So that is where the interferons come in, I think. They alert the body and then they interfere or mitigate the effect that the virus has on the body, on the cells of the body. Which cellular receptors are critical for detecting viral nucleic acids and initiating an early antiviral cytokine response? PRRs, pattern recognition receptors like MAMPs and DAMPs, or TLRs, RLRs, yep. What class of cytokines is central to creating an antiviral state in neighboring cells by inducing the expression of interferon-stimulated genes? What? Type 1 interferons like alpha and beta. How do natural killer cells recognize and kill virally infected cells? Hey, Lucas. Still not asleep, huh? NK cells recognize cells with down-regulated MHC class 1 expression, which is a common viral immune evasion strategy through an activation or inhibition system. I knew it was past midnight for you. You best get to bed, man. What is the mechanism by which antibodies attached to an infected cell can trigger its destruction by NK cells? ADCC, antibody-dependent cellular cytotoxicity. Wow. Which T cell type is responsible for directly killing virally infected somatic cells by recognizing viral peptides presented on MHC class 1 molecules? Cytotoxic T lymphocytes. I should have known that one. Come on. How do antibodies work to clear viral infections through neutralization? They bind to the surface proteins of a virus, physically blocking the virus from attaching and entering host cells. Alright, Lucas. Try and get to sleep, man. You got this. I'll see you whenever I see you next, man. It's good to have you here. The accumulation of small point mutations in viral genes leading to minor changes in surface antigens, man, is known as antigenic drift. When a virus acquires new genomic material, such as through reassortment between different viral strains, leading to a new subtype, this is known as antigenic shift. Different viral strains is the key there. The outer membrane of gram-negative bacteria contains blank, which is a potent endotoxin and a key PAMP, LPS, lipopolysaccharide. The thick, waxy layer rich in mycolic acids in the cell walls of Mycobacterium species requires what special staining method for visualization? Acid-fast staining. Immunity to intracellular bacteria primarily requires activation of M1 macrophages by blank cells and direct killing of infected cells by blank cells. CD4 and CD8. M1 activated by CD4 and infected cells are killed by CD8, cytotoxic, cell toxic. What is the most effective immune defense against invasive extracellular bacteria? Invasive extracellular IgE eosinophils, granulocytes? No. A robust antibody response leading to opsonization and complement activation. Okay. Pretty good content, by the way. The adaptive immune response, helminth infections, is a blank response, IgE, and activation of eosinophils. Th2. Adaptive, most effective, Leishmania. Th1. Activates macrophages. Effective against intracellular protozoa. How do eosinophils and mast cells work together to combat helminth parasites? They shoot granules at them, basically. Degranulation and release of chemotactic factors that recruit eosinophils, which then release toxic proteins onto the parasite. What immune evasion tactic is used by parasites like trypanosoma, which periodically change their variant surface glycoproteins? That is antigenic drift, or it's masking. Variation. Antigenic variation is where they periodically change it. Okay. The common pruritic reaction to flea bites in dogs is a combination of which two types of hypersensitivity? 1 and 4. 1 immediate, and then 4 delayed. What type of vaccine contains a live pathogen that has been weakened or attenuated in a lab so it can replicate in the host but does not cause serious disease? My brother's here if you guys can hear him. Live mediated, modified live vaccine. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. What is a major advantage of modified live vaccines over inactivated or killed vaccines in terms of the immune response they generate? They generate a greater and more robust immune response because they can survive and reproduce even though they're greatly weakened. They mimic natural infection. Both humoral and cell-mediated immunity. You have a German Shepherd named Petra. That's awesome. When did you get her? What is the primary safety concern associated with modified live vaccines? Oh, a rescue? How long ago was that? Well, so modified live vaccines are still alive, and so they can still harm the host. It can revert to a virulent form. Inactivated vaccines are generally poor at inducing cell-mediated immunity and often require the addition of an blank to enhance the immune response. An adjuvant. Excuse me. What type of vaccine uses a harmless virus or bacterium to carry and express genes from a pathogen, thereby delivering the pathogen's antigens to the host's immune system? A viral vector, or a recombinant vector vaccine. What is a DIVA vaccine? I don't know. differentiation of infected from vaccinated animals, typically through serological tests that detect antibodies to viral proteins not included in the vaccine. Vaccines that are recommended for all animals in a population, regardless of lifestyle or location, are known as blank vaccines. Core. What is the term for the indirect protection from infectious disease that occurs when a large percentage of a population has become immune, thereby reducing the likelihood of infection for non-immune individuals? Herd immunity. What hypersensitivity reaction involves a soluble antigen, IgG or IgM, and results in a key lesion of neutrophilic inflammation with vasculitis? This is type 3. Yes, type 3 hypersensitivity. Which hypersensitivity reaction involves a soluble antigen, IgE, and has mast cells and eosinophils as its primary effectors? This is type 1. To what class of foreign IgG? Normal immune response. Helminth, parasites. Extracellular, parasites. A predisposition to producing IgE and thus having allergies is termed what? Hypersensitivity? No. Sensitization? Atopy? Atopy? I don't know how you say that. Like atopic dermatitis. Atopy. Atopy? I don't know how you say that. Atopy? I don't know. But anyway, having allergies is termed as atopy. However you say that. What is the proposed hygiene hypothesis to explain the increase in allergic diseases? We are too clean, and so we're not getting exposed to everything. Yeah. And so later on in life, when we are exposed to those things, our immune system exaggerates the response. In treating a severe anaphylactic reaction, epinephrine is used for its alpha-adrenergic effect of vasoconstriction and its beta-adrenergic effect of bronchodilation. Vasoconstriction and smooth muscle. Vasoconstriction, and then beta is used for smooth muscle relaxation and bronchodilation. Hey Lucas, still up, huh? How does desensitization therapy for allergies such as allergic inhalant dermatitis work immunologically? Well, they prick you with a pen that contains the antigen on your skin, and then your body creates antibodies against it, and it's thought to shift the immune response from Th2 to Th1, thereby blocking IgE production, making it not as anaphylactic, I suppose. Antibodies that form against an antigen from a different individual of the same species, such as in a transfusion reaction, are termed alloantibodies. In the case of Georgie, the presence of 4+ polychromasia on the CBC is consistent with what other finding that indicates a regenerative anemia? Icterus, I think, is what it was. No. A high reticulocyte percentage. Well, yeah, that would make sense. What is the mechanism by which a splenectomy might help in the treatment of IMHA? Huh. Yeah, that makes sense. What is the mechanism by which a splenectomy might... Oh, it's the same question. Okay. In Spike's case, vomiting and diarrhea following vaccination are GI signs of a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction caused by hypersecretion and what other mediator action? Anaphylaxis? No. Smooth muscle contraction. In dizygotic twin calves that share placental circulation, why is it possible to graft tissue from one twin to the other without rejection? Because they have basically the same antibodies. Mutual tolerance. Each twin recognizes the other twin's tissue as its own. The success of passive transfer, a level below blank, is considered a total failure. 400. Okay. Primary role of CD71 erythroid precursor cells. Actively suppress the neonatal immune system. Okay. What are the 3 key antiviral proteins produced by interferon stimulated genes? Okay, I didn't know that. What is the function of the complement system's membrane attack complex and antiviral immunity? Can cause lysis of infected host cells or act directly on the envelope of the virus itself. That's pretty helpful. Facultative and obligate differ because facultative can live in the medium or in the cell, but obligates have to live in the cell, in the host cell. What is the main function of pili or fimbriae? Movement. They're able to move better, I think, right? Something like that. In helminth immunity, what cytokine? IL-5. Covers itself with host cells. Yeah. What is the first commercially successful vaccine based on virus-like particles in veterinary medicine? I cannot remember. Engelvax Circoflex for porcine circovirus. Okay. What is the estimated minimum duration of immunity for the core modified live virus vaccines for canine distemper, parvovirus, and adenovirus 2? 1 year? 3 years? Greater than 7 years. Wow, okay. What is the primary reason that most rabies vaccines used in dogs are inactivated or killed rather than modified live? Because rabies is a very, very deadly disease. Yeah. And it's a fatal disease. It's a zoonotic disease. Yeah, rabies. Spooky disease. Very, very scary. Alright, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Kayla, for watching this long. Appreciate you. See you around. And, yeah. Thank you all. Appreciate all of you. It is time for me to go. I'll see y'all later.